Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Living Room. Today we got a very special guest, my beautiful sister. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Muslima. I was about to say my last name, but yeah, I'm Muslima from Richmond, and I live in LA now. I'm an actress.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So today's episode is going to be called Leaps of Faith, meaning that nobody gets nowhere by chance or by luck. It's all about you taking that leap. It's all about you taking that risk, not in a risk that'll get you locked up or dead, like most people like to say or whatever. That could be somebody else's risk, but today we're talking about risk as in maybe being uncomfortable or not knowing how you're going to pay your bills or, risk like that. So we're going to start out in the beginning of your journey to LA. What year was it when you first, let's start even before then. What year was it when you thought about, hey, maybe I should go to LA or, started going to see apartments or, things like that?
Okay, so I graduated from college in 2016, studied acting, and after graduating, I lived in DC for like a year, and while living there, one of my friends had moved to LA, and I was like thinking about it. I was like, do I want to pursue theater? Do I want to pursue TV film? If I do want to pursue TV and film, am I going to move to LA or am I going to move to New York? So that was 2016, 2017.
Okay.
So then May of 2018, I went to LA to see how I liked it. I just wanted to know do I like the vibe? How are the people? What does it look like? You hear so many different things about a place. It's like you need to see it for yourself.
Yep.
So I went in May, saw it for myself, and I loved it. I did a little photo shoot while I was there for some new headshots, and I just liked it. I really did. I liked the weather, majority of the people, the food, just everything, the scenery. So I was like, all right, well, this is it. And so then I came back to Richmond. And then during the summer, I got a manager that was based in LA, and he was like, okay, well, I'm only going to sign you if by end of the summer you move to LA. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I just got myself together and made the move.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's what it's about, just doing it, The hardest part is just doing it. And 9 times out of 10, if your heart is in the right place or if you're doing the right thing, everything else will fall in line.
Yep.
So tell me about when you first moved there or the journey actually moving there. Was it any fear of oh my God, I'm ready to be on a whole different coast from my family?
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I only had 2, maybe 3 friends there, so that was a big thing. Not really knowing that many people there, and that far away. We don't have any family beyond Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that was a big challenge to overcome, but I was just like, this is what I want to do. Now is the best time. I'm gonna do it. I just kept saying it to myself, now or never, now or never.
Yeah.
So really, like you said about taking that leap of faith. And so I drove cross country with my aunt from Virginia to California. It was great. The drive was nice. We stopped a few times.
Looked at a little scenery.
Yeah, scenery. We saw our aunts in Oklahoma, so that was cool. Yeah. But originally I was supposed to be staying with a friend right outside of LA, 2 hours outside of LA. And then right as I was driving here and I crossed the border coming into California, she told me that I couldn't stay with her.
Wow. See? So that's a good thing right there. Boom. Let's stop right there.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are going towards your destiny, not even sometimes, mostly all the time, it will be some type of obstacle set right in front of you to say, do you really want this? Do you really now? I know you're saying you want it. I know you've been trying to do it.
But is that really what you want? Yeah.
But is that really what you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes,
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah. So
true.
So tell us about. Go ahead and continue telling us about that part, and I'm gonna step off for 1 second. But go ahead and tell us about.
Okay, so yeah, so basically, I decided, that I wasn't going to let that stop me. So I essentially was like, no, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna figure it out. I didn't know where I was living. Literally didn't have that much money, and I just figured it out. So I stayed with one of my friends in his studio apartment for like maybe 2-3 days, and then thankfully, luckily, one of the other studio apartments where he lived had just opened up, and so then I moved into that apartment. It was perfect timing, and I honestly feel like what Fadio just said, like, God was testing me, like, if this is what you really want, you're gonna find a way. Yep. But if it's not what you really want, go ahead and back out now, because it's just going to get harder.
Worse.
It's only going to get worse.
Yep.
So just go ahead and back out now if this isn't what you really want. But since I stuck it out and I was like, no, I'm not coming back home, then it was like, boom, here's an apartment for you.
Yep.
So it was perfect timing. It really was.
I'm going to tell you a story kind of like that my father told me. Okay, so in Haiti, they send either their oldest or their smartest or their best child to feel like, okay, this is my best. He gonna go to America. He gonna make money, and he gonna send it back to the family. They sent my father here. It was November of, I want to say 85, 86, something like that, 84. Okay, in Haiti, year round it feels good, right? He said he got off the plane with slippers on in New York City.
In
November, December.
Oh my God.
He said it was snowing. His feet were so cold he wanted to cry and call his family back home and say, I'm coming back home.
Oh, yeah.
He ended up getting a job working for $3 an hour.
Oh my goodness.
As a mechanic. And he didn't even really know how to work on cars, but he lied and told the people he did and he figured it out. But that was just another story of basically a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Meaning that he said he wanted to call home and say, I'm coming back home, but he said he knew he couldn't because his family at home would be like, what, you in America? Over there, they look at America as heaven. So what, you in heaven and you want to come back here to where we poor, where we barely eating at? So he said he stuck it out. So that was his little obstacle to overcome. And now, exactly, where he's at now, able to take care of his family and has his own business, and so that was just a little side story.
That is
okay. So you said a studio ended up opening up,
and so then I moved into there. Yep. And so now I've been living there for 2 years, and even now, like with COVID, everything going on now, I could easily be like, oh, there's no telling what's gonna happen in Hollywood. I need to move back home. But for me, it's just important that, like, if it's your dream, you gotta stay on the path of your dream.
Yeah.
And I think, sometimes you might get off that path. Things might happen. Maybe you have children. Maybe you fall in love. Whatever. But I feel like if it's yours, you really gotta not let other people influence how you're gonna get there, and you gotta just go.
Yep. A lot of times our family members and friends put their fears or their failures on us because they were scared or they didn't succeed at something. They'll say, okay, no, Najma, maybe you need to just come back and da-da-da. Like, and that's okay. That keeps you balanced because sometimes, even as me, I be too far into my dream, and I need my dad to pull me back a little bit to reality. So
it's good to have that balance, because then it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna move home, but I'm at least make sure I'm being safe in LA, so then I'm preventing myself from getting into certain stuff. For sure.
Yep. This is what I wanted to ask you, and I kind of think I know your answer, but I probably don't. A person like me, my plan B is to enforce plan A. I rarely have a plan B. Are you one of those type people who actually has a plan B, or do you just say my plan B is to enforce plan A?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I feel like I used to have a plan B. Like when I was in college, I was like, okay, well, if I can't make it as an actress, then I'll just become a theater instructor. Then, like right after I graduated from college, I was like, I'm not trying to do that. So now, no, I would say my plan B still would result in a way to achieve my plan
A. Yeah.
Maybe just a different route. Like,
Yep.
oh, well,
Yep.
I'm going to start doing music videos or I'm
Yep.
going to start modeling, whatever. But end of the day, still to bring me back to what I
Being
want
an
to do, which is
actress.
acting.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah. And I think, I mean, I don't know. Some people have plan Bs. I just think for me, I've always been a type, even in school, that if I know I have another option, I'm going to slack off.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I just
That's
know
how
I'm
it
going to
goes.
slack
Yep.
off. So
Yep.
it's like I need to
Don't
have one
yep.
option, so then I have to
Yep.
be, like,
To
in it.
enforce. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yep, so yeah, that was a good little lesson there. And I have visited her. Cali is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I've just recently went for my first time last year for my birthday. It was beautiful. I mean, I went during the COVID, so I probably didn't get to experience the whole
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a beautiful place, and it's really inspiring because a lot of the people that I look at on YouTube live there. So I can walk past somewhere where I see somebody driving a Rolls Royce, or I see somebody driving a Lamborghini, and I said, man, this dude is just like me. He from a neighborhood just like me. He probably done went through some BS just like me, and he made it here, so I can do it too. Sometimes that's the thing that holds people back when they live in small towns, is that they don't have any. The only example of success they got is somebody like my father, which is beautiful. He owns his own business, but it took him till you maybe 50, 60 years old to own his own business, and whoop-de-whoop, he owned a few properties. So in Richmond, that's kind of really the only person you have to look up to that's kind of doing good.
Yeah.
With being in a big city, you kind of can see other people that look
It's
just
more
like you.
options for success.
Yeah.
Or you could see, I think you're right, because in LA or even in New York, you might come across someone, they're 19 and they have their own business.
Exactly.
Versus in Richmond, it is more so like people been working at this for
Their
20,
whole
30
life,
years.
yep.
Which is important because even for that 19-year-old, it didn't just come overnight,
Facts. Yep.
So you still got to be persistent with getting there, but that is true. Like, even when I was back this time, I was saying to Syed, I didn't see... I saw one Tesla in Hampton, and I was like, it's so crazy to, like, be in LA where you're seeing all of these cars. And not that it matters